a Pete Primeau fan.
Thank you for having me.
Your fans are like...
What an honor to be here, Pete. You're a legend. You're a rock star.
I'm a legend in my own mind, said my wife.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I'm Mr. Selling from the Heart. What's this guy, Larry Levine, going to teach me about selling from the heart?
You are one of the most generous and authentic people around. And I think that's why you and your show are so attractive to people.
Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 248, and this is the funnest show that I do because I don't do any work. It's an Ask Pete, and the first rule is if you have a question and you are on the live stream right now, just type it in there as a comment, and we will get to your question before the other questions. That's number one. Number two, hey, Andy, thank you for being here, brother. Number two, let me pay the bills before I get fired from my non-paying job. Whoop, that's right. Sell a million. Sell a million. It is not a sales book. It's a business book, and it's a marketing book. Best compliment I ever got from my friend Doug Stewart. Take the word furniture and mattress out of this book, and it's just a great business and great marketing book. Buy that if you need to know how to run a more profitable business or how to make that door swing right now. Some great ideas in that book for that. If you want a sales book, I've got a sales book for you, along with me and 10 other of my friends. So miles and miles of retail selling greatness. I have been super blessed in my almost 44 years to meet some of the best in the industry. And I have 10 co-authors, not the least of which Jeff Janakovo, Brent Batterman, Justin Trumbo, Chris Tahaney, Mark Klingenberg, Steve Carnes, Mel Opp, Keith Castonguay, Randy Thompson, 10 other contributing authors, and they did a great job. This book is actually over 3 years worth of sales meetings. If you take each chapter, divide it in half, and use each QR code for a sales meeting, you have 3 years worth of sales meetings, doing one a week, every week. So let's get started. Oh, let me pay the bills. I got to say thank you to Greg and Steve for sponsoring the show. The Mattress Industry Network is a great group. If you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry, join this group. You don't have to be all alone, guys and gals. You want to learn how to build, sell, market, and succeed in the mattress industry, this is the place to be. It's 100% free. All you got to do is hit that QR code. It'll take you straight to this free Facebook group. It's a great place to learn. It's a great place to network, and it's 100% free. So join the group now, and thank you again, Steve, and thank you, Greg, for sponsoring the Pete Primeau Show. I appreciate you. Let's get started. I'm not talking anymore. I am going to let my producer do everything. Welcome to the show, everybody. Chris Stone, world-class podcast producer and host on occasion. And we've been getting so many questions. We've been hammered lately. But here's a special thing about having Chris. And he doesn't know I'm going to say this, so he might get a little embarrassed. Chris, I am probably by far the least successful of his clients.
That is not true.
I couldn't be a pimple on some of these guys and gals' butts.
How do you define success, Pete? So I think that's not true.
Well, okay. So let me compliment you.
Okay.
Because Chris has access and works with great people in business and marketing, sometimes the answers that I give, he will add to and give us some of the best insights that we get on this show. So, Chris, thank you for wearing both hats today, producing the show and also hosting it. So, what we got here, brother?
We got some folks that are here in the chat, and Andy had chimed in earlier. He says he doesn't think Jenny's going to fire you, so so he knows. That's a little inside baseball right there in as far as Pete Primeau's business. And then we also have Andrew Burt joining us. Hello from HP. Wish you were here, Pete.
Hey,
I'm not sure where
Andrew.
HP is.
Andrew is a longtime pro in our business. He's a veteran, and I wish I was in High Point too, brother. I really do. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who's heading down to the High Point Furniture Market.
Mm-hmm.
Travel safely and guys, have fun. I wish I could be there. I just can't. I got called for jury duty. So I've been putting this thing off. They finally said you can't put it off.
I got you. Yep.
Yeah. This is not like, so anyway, so it's been a crazy day, Chris. I woke up the floor, typical, worked out at 5, which is typical. But then I had a mastermind that I had to be at. And then I left the mastermind and I'm going back to the mastermind. And then the mastermind runs tomorrow too. So I'm super excited for that. As a matter of fact, do you have that Lion King?
I do.
You do. So I want to give a shout out to Brayna in my mastermind. And I'm going to have Chris play a little video clip for you, Brayna.
Well, I didn't know we were going to play it. If we do, that could get YouTube to strike us because it's copyrighted content. So I have the link that I can
picture.
Okay.
Pull up the picture. Yeah, let's not get thrown out. And Andy, High Point is the furniture market. Great question. So this is from the Lion King, and James Earl Jones says, remember who you are. He comes back as a ghost, actually. Remember who you are. And so, Brayna, remember who you are. She will get that. And I want to give a shout out to my mastermind. It's the Elite Gold Mastermind. It's run by a gentleman named Ron Sheets, who is an amazing marketer and business coach. So can't wait to get back there, but I can't wait to do this. So got some questions there, buddy?
Yeah, we do. Just so everybody is aware, we'll put this, if you're an audio listener, we'll put that link to the Lion King video in the show notes. And we also dropped it in the chat. So anybody that's watching live, you can check that video out. And then, let's get ready to, so Pete, let's do a little ground rules, if we could. For those, if you haven't joined us before on Ask Pete, if you're in the chat, I see, Andy and a couple of Andys. And we also have some other folks that are joining right now. Any live questions take precedent. We're going to move you to the top of the line. So, but these are questions that, people may not be able to join live, or, they know an Ask Pete's coming up. So they send in an email. If you have a question that you want answered and you can't make it live, just email Pete at peteprimo.com. Put Ask Pete in the subject. We'll pop them in here, and we'll get going. Well, what did we say? We said live questions take precedent, and we have a live question already, Pete.
Awesome.
So we can't be liars. We got to do this. And I think we know this guy, Vernon Williams, aka RJ, aka JR.
Don't confuse me. It's RJ. It's RJ. I was thinking about that.
Right.
Like, man, I really hate when I call him JR on accident. I love this dude.
Oh, and he's such a good dude that he's just like water off a duck's back. He's like, it's all good. So Vernon says, love you, Pete, and thank you for all you do. How do you really know when your business is ready to add a second location? Not just because it's busy, but because it's truly scalable. This is a great question.
It's a great question. It's probably one of the best questions we've ever gotten on the show. So, you're focusing on it being truly scalable. And so what we're really talking about, and what one of our mentors, both of our mentors, Jeff Chinakovo, talks about a lot is, do you have a business that's a job for you, or do you have a business that is truly a business that can run on by itself? A business cannot run by itself without SOPs, standard operating procedures. So this is what I would say. Number one, you have to have a profitable first location. The biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen it happen again and again and again, I'm surprised at how many times it's happened, is the owner doesn't fix what's wrong with the first location. And he or she just thinks that, you know what, I'll just divide the advertising costs and then I'll be profitable. And that extra, assuming that there'll be no extra advertising, that I'll just do the same exact amount of advertising. It'll feed 2 stores and I'll have twice as much business for the advertising spend. Very, very rarely works out that way. So number one, you should be profitable. Number two, and listen, RJ, you're already here. You joined a group that I am extremely fond of, to the point that I believe that anybody who's serious about the mattress business is in this group or should be in this group. And that's the MRT group, the Facebook group that Jeff runs, Mattress Retailer Toolkit. It's like $99 or $97 a month. It's just dumb. And
it's dumb not to, I think is what you
mean. It's just stupid. It should be like $2.99 to $4.99 a month.
Hey, don't get Jeff any ideas. He doesn't need another one
for the value that he delivers. So, RJ, you are on our Win the Weekend calls that we normally do with Pete and friends. They're normally at 1:00 on Fridays. There won't be one because I've got to head back to the mastermind as soon as I finish this. You do that, and you are a regular listener of my show, and you are involved with, you're a student. So I guess you need to be a student of the game. You need to be profitable. You need to start to develop SOPs for everything, for sales, for deliveries, unless you job them out. And even then you have to have SOPs for them, which are actually called contracts, because you have to control as much of your business as you can control. So you can't have a scalable business without SOPs. You just can't do it.
That's right.
But the most important thing is your focus, RJ. You've known for a long time that you want a business that will run without you. And that's huge, my friend. And, Tara, your partner, You guys have an amazing partnership. You guys both row with both oars, and you guys are working as hard as you can, implementing at breakneck speed. Usually, you guys are first to implement any new idea that will help make your business more profitable or help bring you more traffic. So, continue to do everything you're doing. I would just say, for you specifically, the key to scalability is having great SOPs, having a focus that this is where you want it to take it, is where it all starts. You're already there. Just keep doing what you're doing, but really pay attention to, if something bad were to happen to me today, have I left an operating manuals book behind that everybody knows what to do? What are the open in store procedures? What are the close in store procedures? How do we do a deposit? How do we order? Who's responsible for order and when? Who's responsible for receiving? How do we schedule deliveries? Commit all of that to writing. Sounds like a lot, but guys and gals, while you have one store, start documenting what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because that focus and that awareness will make you better. And if you never have a second store, but you ran your first store as if you were going to open up multiple locations, you would have a better business. And God forbid, Jeff Janakovo didn't know that his wife was going to have the health problems she had in the past year. If he hadn't committed to SOPs with him and his team, he could have never been the unbelievably great, supportive, loving husband and father that he was to his wife and his boys during this time of trial. That business ran without him because of the work that he put in before. And that's what all of us should strive for. So, Chris, I know you have something to add to this.
I mean, it's great advice. And, one of my mentors said to me is always make sure you've got bench strength. And I know we talk a lot about sports analogies on this, but, and there's a lot of great things that each one of us have in our zone of genius. Like, there are things that you think no one else can do as well as you, right? And that might be true, but you've got to be able to pass that along to people, to train people, to not only just help them be better as humans and better but like to learn your business, not to eventually take over your business necessarily, but so that when you do have situations, personal situations, or when you do decide you want to go on a cruise for 2 weeks, somewhere where you're not going to have great internet, and you can unplug and trust that the people that you've got in place and the standard operating procedures that you have in place, and those people can run that business. But if you can't do that, then you have a job. You don't have a business that's scalable. And I think that's key, I think, for any industry, quite frankly, even someone, like myself that, doesn't necessarily have retail stores for what I do. I've got to be able to have people around me that I've trained, that I trust, that, when I need to do something personally, or, I need to take a vacation, or I just need to unplug because I'm worn out. Listen, I had a job for 28 years, and that ended up being hell for me. And so I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to do this so that this works for itself, so that I can unplug and be with my family, be a better father, be a better husband, be a better friend to people. So
I love unplug and trust. And the only thing I would add to this to round it out, RJ, is pour yourself into your people. That is really incredibly huge. They should understand your why. Your why and their why needs to line up 100%. It needs to be like a hand in a glove. And if that isn't the way it is, start looking for new people. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean, we work hard to bring them along and to get them on board. Um, we define everything about their jobs properly, and they know. We give them coaching, we give them consistent feedback. And that is the easiest thing to say in the world, but it's the hardest thing to do because you have other fires you want to put out. But the minute that train starts to go off the track, you have to correct. Now, not with a customer in the store, but as soon as that customer leaves, that salesperson did something wrong. They need to get corrected and they need to understand why we do it XYZ way, not ABC way. So, your focus, your SOPs, pouring yourself into people, and the fundamental, the idea that you even ask the question, RJ,
Yeah.
is fabulous.
Yeah.
And it speaks to who you are and it speaks to where you're going.
Yeah.
So
Nice problems to have when you're in a situation like that, where you're not thinking about closing. You're really thinking about the scaling. And RJ, thank you for asking that question. And he says, "Great advice, gentlemen. Appreciate you."
we
Pardon me, I had a
appreciate you.
little something in my throat there. That happens from time to time. But in any event, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this show live, we're taking your questions live from the legend that is Pete Primeau. And so you will go to the front of the line just like Vernon Williams did. But we're going to roll into the questions. Yeah, we're not getting to them all. I can pretty much let you know that, Pete. But that's That's
par for the course.
That's right. All right, so let's get to the first one. This is from Curious in Massachusetts. I heard you were going to a mastermind in the next week. Yeah, you'd spoken about that earlier. You mentioned the group was from diverse industries and locations. What's their take on the economy, and what should a retail mattress store do to get as much business as possible? From Curious in Massachusetts.
That's a great question. And it happens that today is my mastermind and tomorrow as well. It's a 2-day mastermind. So they did not go into a big old thing about the economy. Some of the people that are in here are like world-class marketers. They are so good at what they do that they pretty much don't care what the economy's doing. They really don't. They have they have a process that they execute in their business, and there was very little discussion about the economy other than a few comments about yeah, but the economy is supposed to be horrible. So they were actually mocking out the news that the economy's horrible. It's not horrible for them. They're executing extremely high rate. And listen, guys and gals, business is soft this time of year. We're walking into our Black Friday season. It's not a Black Friday day anymore. I was talking to Ray yesterday at her store, and I said, it used to be one day, and people used to set their alarm clock for midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and they'd run out and they do their 1 day Black Friday shopping. Now it's Black Friday. Some big retailers are breaking this Monday, and it doesn't end till December 5th. So that's not for everybody, but that's for some. So business has been soft the last couple of weeks, but there's still substantial business out there. It's really important for everybody to understand. Yesterday, first 3 dealers I saw, every one of them placed orders. Some of them placed orders for multiple lines. So guys and gals, if you own a store, I know that it's slower traffic than you'd like. Just keep your chin up and remember this. Scott Vaughn always says they chose you. From all the other stores, they chose you. And it's up to you to deliver such a great experience that they don't want to go, shopping anymore. One of the closes that I used to use when I was in retail, and I still use it to this day, when I work special sales for retailers, if I've done a really good job and we've really landed them on something, everybody that knows me knows I'm not a high pressure guy. I'm not a high pressure wholesale or retail ever. I only use the fact that they're going to get a better night's sleep and have a better quality of life as my ammunition to close with. But one of the things that I love to say after we've done everything, we've done our trial closes, and they're still saying no to me, I'll just kind of look at them and kind of make a face and go, do you really want to shop around? It seems like you got exactly what you, do you really, I'm almost being like the little guy on the shoulder. Do you really want to shop around? And sometimes I'll take it to the other side and I'll make a joke about it. I go, hey, hopefully I'll see you back in a little bit. Maybe you can spend a half a tank of gas in a few hours running around.
Exactly.
I'll see you back in a little bit, and I'll be so glad to see you when you come back in. And sometimes that's just enough. But listen, I will say this. The most important thing you can ever do is use your own personality and what feels right at the moment. And if you've got good instincts, you read people well, you've earned the business, more times than not, with a little extra effort, they will come your way. And making a joke about running around and wasting your gas in not a cryptic, mean way, but with a smile, with a chuckle, you can get them to say, you know what, we really don't want to shop around. I literally almost always get, especially with a two-legged shopper, two-legged shoppers, a married couple in my Pete Primeau.
Isn't that four-legged though? If it's two people?
Yeah.
Two
it probably
times
should be
two is
four-legged, but
four.
we've called them two-legged so they'll look at each other and go, you know what? This is exactly what we want. Let's just get it.
Why go through all the trouble of shopping around? Do you really want to? No, of course not. Like, I can't wait to drive to 3 other locations and see if I can save $13 or whatever. How much is your time worth? Is something I think a lot of people forget, right? Yeah. They go through all of this time and effort to save so little.
I've even done that one where I just look at them and I go, you guys have asked me some really great questions that I often don't get from customers. It seems like you guys are very serious, and it seems like this is exactly what you've been looking for. And they'll a lot of times go, yeah. And then if they still don't go, I will actually do the whole thing of, what's your time worth? What is your time worth? I mean, you take all the time you need. Let me know. You can call me back. You don't have to make a decision now, but is this really something you have to think about, or is this something that you just want to do? And you see what I'm doing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the body language. It's the body language 9 times out of 10 that wins the sale versus the words that you use. So there's a little tidbit for you. What was the last piece of that question?
What's their take on the economy, and what should a retail mattress store do to get as much business as possible? Use that close that Pete just.
Yeah, I mean, I just gave you 3 or 4 different nudges. They're kind of secondary closes. So I don't know that you, as a store owner, you want to get as much business as possible, just volume. What you want is profitable volume, right? And what you want is a happy customer that's going to do 3 things for you. And this is important. Number one, they're going to give you a referral because they loved how you treated them. They absolutely love you, RJ, and they love the way you treated them, and they're going to refer a customer to you. Number two, they're going to give you a testimonial. And number three, which is really number one, but it's just the way my mind works, give you a 5-star online review, or as the great Jeff Janakovo says, an authentic online review. If you sell in a way that you get testimonials, referrals, and online reviews, you have a business that is going to continue to grow. If you don't get those three things, there's something wrong with your sales process. So I reject the idea of just getting business to get business. But going to the heart of the question, right now we're walking into Black Friday, so traffic's going to be good. It's going to be good. There's going to be a lot of advertising in the marketplace, and I would just say this: don't shortcut your process. Do your full process, and when it's slower, always do your full process with the customer. Ask really great questions. Asking open-ended questions and going one layer deeper than your competitor is the key to closing more sales and doing more business. I believe in guerrilla marketing in slow times. I believe in doing whatever you have to do. If you can put a mattress out with an on sale banner, fine, do it. If that isn't the image you want to portray, I get that too. But I believe in doing anything and everything to make sure that your community knows who you are, what you do, and make friends with all of your retail business neighbors. Make sure they know what you do, and do cross promotions between the least expensive way to get a customer in your store is a cross promotion with another store who's not your direct competitor. So if they sell ice cream or hamburgers and you sell mattresses, to me, you guys can share customers very easily. I've even seen it done with automobile dealerships. So think about cross promotions, and think about just being completely ingrained in your community, and do everything you can to be the first person they think of when they think about getting a better night's sleep. That's my answer.
I love that one. I think we need to move along to the next question. This is from Frustrated in Arizona. Frustrated says, "Hey Pete, November is spare room mattress month." Okay, that's I was today years old when I learned that. These customers are different, and quite frankly, I'm tired of them walking out of my store. How can my team sell them and do it profitably?
That's a great question. And so I agree with you. November is spare room mattress month. A lot of times people have guests coming in at the end of the month.
Got it.
For Thanksgiving. They don't want to, they don't want to embarrass themselves and put somebody on a 40 or a 50-year-old mattress.
Right. And they want something affordably. They want something affordable, right?
They want something that's really great feeling because they like their guests, but they don't want to spend any money on it. So, it's a paradigm, right? So
right.
There's a couple of pieces to this. One is an advertising and merchandising piece, and then there's another that's just a pure sales piece. So let me say this. I've been saying for a long time, and it hasn't happened yet, when this inflation subsides, and it's gonna subside, it's could happen at the end of the fourth quarter, may not happen to the first or second quarter of next year. I believe that the promotional mattress customer, if you make them feel comfortable and welcome into your store, will come back to you. There is a contingency of customers that have bought some cheap mattress on Amazon and they had a bad experience, and they don't want to buy any more mattresses on Amazon. All right. So you've got that, but you have to call out to them. You have to say in your marketing that you want them in your store and you have something for them, even if they're not gonna. And a lot of those customers, they're not looking for promotional mattresses anymore. They want better mattresses. So number one, call out to all customers in your marketplace, regardless of price point. Number two, make sure you do have something. It doesn't have to be displayed in a king on your showroom floor. It's probably better off as a twin in a value rack, but have something that's a good value for $4.99, $5.99, $6.99. Uh, have something that is profitable, and preferably have it in stock and encourage a take with. That's super important, because anything under $1,000 that can be taken with the customer instead of you having the expense of a delivery is hugely important and impactful on your bottom line, especially if you do your own deliveries. So have something for that customer when they come in. Now, there is a way, and you guys have all heard some version of this, but there's a twist on it that I do. So I have never had a good idea in my life. What I do is I share ideas, and it doesn't matter if I'm selling wholesale or retail. I have worked with some of the best and brightest business owners in the world. I've had some of the best retail customers in the world who are really smart, that did a better job problem solving than I ever did. And I share those stories with my retail customer or my wholesale customer, because when it's somebody else's idea and I'm not presenting it as my idea, they're much more likely to receive it in the way that I want it received. So here's the example. I could say, well, Mrs. Jones, I know that you're looking for a spare room, a mattress for your spare room. But how old's your current mattress? Because maybe you want to take your current mattress and put it in your, in your spare room and get something good for yourself. That reeks of commission breath. That sucks. And I know I'm exaggerating a bunch of pieces of it. And I can hear people like throwing popcorn at their screen right now. They're like, Pete, I would never say it that way. That's not the right way you say it. Yeah, I know. I'm just exaggerating. Okay. I made it the worst it could possibly be. But here's a better way. And maybe you can find an even better way to do this. Mrs. Jones, I'm happy to show you all of our value beds. I've had a few customers in the past that were super happy when they actually took their mattress that was 10 to 15 years old, that still had a little bit of life left in it. They put it in their spare room and they got something really nice for themselves. But it was their idea. It's not my idea as a retail salesperson. So anything that you share with a customer, it should always be another smart retail customer's idea, not you, the salesperson, pretending to be the smartest guy or gal in the room. So I think that approach gives you a great shot if the customer's willing. They might look at each other and say, you know what? Our mattress is old and it's probably seen its best days. And they came into the store because they saw some kind of a sale, chances are, or they heard about you through a referral, which is even better. Referred customers, here's the best thing about referred customers. They buy more and they refer at higher rates than non-referred customers.
Yeah.
Their average unit selling price is substantially higher, and they are much more likely to refer because they were a referral. So they understand how this whole thing works. So So that's my answer.
I love that. Well, that was a little bonus with the referral nugget there at the end. I like that one. All right, let's move along. And those of you who are watching live, we see a bunch of live viewers here. You know, if you got the guts, ask a question. You know, you take precedent, but we're going to move along. We're going to move along, and this next question is from Trying to Be Grateful in Florida. Hi, Pete. I've followed you for years. Well, it's about time. You often talk about gratitude and thankfulness. I have much to be grateful for, but I am often at a loss as to how to incorporate that into a very busy life. Can you tell me exactly how you do this? Trying to be grateful in Florida. Too busy to be grateful.
Yeah, that's interesting. So let me just do this. Just overly simplistic. I'm going to tell you exactly what I do in the morning when I wake up. The very first thing, as I open my eyes, I literally say these words: God, thank you for giving me the gift of this day. This was a gift that was not given to my father. This is a gift was not given to my grandfather. I'm 65 and I am thankful. So thank you. That's how I start. I say my prayers. I work out, and I literally go through my previous day, and I'm like, hey, you know, I got to see Ray yesterday. I got to see Travis yesterday. I got to see Clint yesterday. I got to see Ben yesterday. I got to see Jacob yesterday. I saw Mandy yesterday, you know, and I love my customers. I absolutely love my customers, and they feel it. They know it. And I am thankful for everything and anything. And I'm going to tell you this: I don't put a bite of food or a protein drink. Usually I'm on the road, I'm eating almonds and drinking protein drinks. I very rarely stop because I've got more stuff on my little schedule than I can actually physically do. And I can't change that. It's just, so I'm thankful for, before I eat or drink anything, I say thank you, because there are people in this world who don't have enough to eat, who don't have enough to drink. And, you know, I had a friend, Jim Gillen. I don't know why his parents did this, but I'm glad they did, because it still has an impact on me. They put pictures of starving people in Africa in their like eating area, in like their dining room.
Wow.
And it was a reminder to the kids of a large family that there are people less fortunate than us, and we need to be mindful, and we need to pray for those people, and we need to do something to help those people. So that's how I do gratitude. That's how I do thankfulness. It's I am ridiculously blessed. I've been blessed my whole life. You know, listen, my heart breaks for the fatherless, the motherless, the ones that didn't have good mothers and fathers. I had a great mother and father. Just had a super, super blessed life. And you know, my dad was an example to me of who I wanted to be. He was positive, he was encouraging, he was enthusiastic, but he was real. He's like, Pete, you can do anything you want in life, but you've got to be willing to pay the price. There was no free lunch.
Yeah.
Pete Primeau, my father's name was Pete too. In Pete Primeau's world, there was no free lunch. And he used to say, honey, we're not the Rockefellers. So I knew he would say things like this: Pete, I want you to go to college. I didn't go to college. You need to go to college. You need to get a degree, and you need to do something that makes you happy. Well, my program was, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be the big football stud, and I'm going to be a pro football player. Well, the pro football thing didn't happen. But I got a degree, and I'm playing football with a pen in my hand with mattresses for the last 44 years. And I've been super, super blessed. And my mom was as honest as the day is long. She was very frugal. She was a worrywart. And I saw an example of what I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be a worrywart. And while I will worry about my daughter, and I will worry about my wife from time to time, I don't ever worry about myself. It's just not something I'll do. And there's something else. I've never prayed for a victory. I've always believed that a victory was up to my efforts to achieve. So I pray for health. I pray for wellness. I pray for peace in the world. I pray for a lot of things, but victory is not something I've ever prayed for. I don't pray for those things. It was, when I was setting world records in powerlifting, all I wanted was to be able to give it my all, and my all was more than enough. Thankfulness, gratitude, talk to God a lot. Don't want to get too preachy because that might turn some people off, but I got to tell you, I've tried to do life without God, and I've done most of my life with God. A lot easier with God than without God. A lot easier.
We've got some folks that are chiming in. Hubert Walton says, amen. I didn't know we were going to church on a Friday, but here we are.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
No,
I
that's
got
okay.
nudged. The Holy Spirit said, just tell them.
That's
Pete,
right.
just
Come on, let's go. Here we go. Anthony Klatt says, powerful. Every day is a gift. What a wonderful morning affirmation. So, Pete, I want to underline that and maybe dovetail it and kind of circle back on this because, with a question here from Trying to Be Grateful in Florida, it sounds to me like you just mentioned it. You're 65 years old. You have 40 plus years in this industry. I'm gonna guess that early in this whole journey of yours into this industry, there were times where, you had to go through a number of things in order to get to where you're at in terms of having that gratitude, that attitude of gratitude that our friend Zig Ziglar talks about. And so let me ask you, was there you talked about your father, you talked about your mother, you talked about your upbringing, but was there a moment when you were in this thing and you had these aspirations to be what you thought was successful and financially successful or successful, and you were so busy, but was there a moment where you pivoted and said, I need to, have this foundation that's rooted in faith, or was there something where you said, you know what, I've made this mistake here and I need to get back to this, these affirmations. I need to get back to doing this and to show more gratitude. Was there maybe a moment or a series of moments that you can remember that brought you to that point? Because I look at this question from Trying to Be Grateful in Florida, and I'm probably younger, probably, has a number of things going on, isn't 65 years old and still doing this. Is there something that you can offer that said, hey, this happened to me and this is why I got to this point in terms of your gratefulness?
I think it ebbed and flowed most of my life. I have to say this. When you go to church and you look at your father and he's praying so hard that tears are coming out of his eyes, and he's not embarrassed to do that.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
That's special. So that was the underpinning. Okay. But I walked away. I walked away. I'm gonna do life my way.
Mm.
I'm the one. I'm just gonna go harder. I'm gonna lift more weights. I'm gonna do more wind sprints. I'm just gonna go harder, and I'm gonna make it happen for myself. And then you realize that you don't have to do life by yourself, and that it's a lot easier with God than without God. I will say this right now, that one of the best things in the world that ever happened to me was Jenny. Um,
Mm.
and she will roll her eyes when I say this, but she brought me back to God.
Mm.
And he was nudging her to nudge me. And that is really how I got brought back, in a very, very tangible and very real way. And, when you make that number one, when you make God number one, and you make your family number two, and then you make your customers number three, and you become number four, that in and of itself, right there, that prioritization will almost guarantee you success, as long as you're focused and as long as you're intelligent enough not to repeat the same old mistakes.
Yeah.
So, complete my sermon.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, well, as part of a prayer is, I'm sure, is God grant me the wisdom, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's really what you're saying right there, is like,
Yeah.
so much of it is out of our control. And we have to understand what is under our control. And I think that really moves your priorities around like that. So hopefully that helped. Our question, we went into a little different direction there, but I love it. But now you know where it's rooted, and hopefully somebody has been impacted by that. So Pete, let's get to another question, and I want to get to this one. I'm moving this one up because I know this came in recently, and this is Need Answers in Southern California. And hi, Pete. I have a question for the show. I'm looking at an ownership financing opportunity with a profitable business that's already established. What guidance would you offer as I move forward with this? This is from Need Answers in Southern California.
Thank you. Need Answers in Southern California. The very first piece to this is question all your assumptions. And this is what I mean by that. I'm writing this down so I don't forget. You might be assuming that it's a profitable business. Have you seen a balance sheet? Have you worked I'm assuming it's a store. Have you worked in the store? Have you seen customers coming in and out of the store? Do you agree that the numbers on the balance sheet that have been provided to you are verified? And so question all the assumptions, and make sure that it's a profitable business. Okay. So that's number one. And I have to say this, in 44 years, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of good, and I've seen a lot of bad. And just blindly taking someone's word for it's a profitable business is the biggest single mistake you'll ever make. All right. So no one's calling me a Pollyanna now, huh? I get called that every now and again. You're a Pollyanna. Yeah, well, I am to some degree in some aspects. Question the assumptions. If it is profitable and you're talking about them financing the business, number one, you need to understand something. I want you to write this down. It's super important. The only reason an owner would be willing to do owner financing, other than you've been with him for years and you helped him make this a profitable business, and this is his way of paying you back and saying thank you. He tried to sell it already and he couldn't. Chances are, okay? with the exception that I gave you. So he can't sell it. So what is a real fair price for the business? Is he trying to get too much for the business? And can the business is being marginally profitable and being wildly profitable are two different things, and there's a lot of room for gray in between that black and white that I just drew there. Okay, so not all profitability is the same. Okay, if it really is strongly profitable, you should be able to pay for the business out of the profits to the owner. Now, that would mean you may not be able to take a large salary at the beginning. It may mean that you take very little out of the business, and you have to understand your finances and your resources that you have to be able to do that. But there are scenarios where that can be done. Typically, what I see is I see businesses being sold from generation to generation.
Mhm.
And I can't tell you how many times I've seen I walk into a store and dealers just absolutely dancing. And I go like, dude, what's going on, man? Did you have a great sale? Nope. Business great? Nope. I just made the last payment to my dad. I own this business now.
There you go.
And so usually it's set up as a monthly payment. And basically what it does for the business owner is it replaces the income that he had for a few years. And it allows him to kind of ease into his or her retirement a little bit easier. So yes, these things can be paid for out of the business. You just don't want to overpay for the business. And you want to be fair to everybody. If the owner has had a business that's been profitable for years and years and years, but what I would be careful of, if it's a business that's less than 10 years old, you really, really need to really be careful. And if it's less than 5 years old, there's probably nothing there to buy, quite frankly. So question your assumptions. And yes, you can structure something on a monthly basis. Some of the ways to do this is a percentage of the profit. So you still are able to pull some money out. So a lot of times you could take the profit and split it and put that split profit at the end of the month towards the purchase price. Just make sure that it's a real purchase price and that it's not a blown up purchase price. And there are people who are really, really good at this. I will tell you, Justin Trumbo, really, really smart at this. Jeff Janakovo, super smart at this. Scott Vaughn just did it with his son. Jordan Vaughn is now the owner of Happy Z's. It's not Scott anymore. It's Jordan. So, ask those guys about formulating the actual recipe. There's a few different ways of ascertaining what the real value of a business is. So I would, I would just be careful and yes, it can be done, and it can be done on a simple monthly basis. And it could be as simple, and this is overly simplistic, split the profit, at the end of the month, split the profit. And that's why it's so important to understand what is the profitability at the end of the month. And you really need to put it all on a pro forma, and you need to look at it. And you also need to look at this. Are there opportunities to improve the advertising? Are there opportunities to improve social media presence, website efficacy, what the ability for the website and the social media to work together to drive traffic is more important today than ever before. Can those things be improved? Could merchandising be improved? Could sales training be improved? Could service to the customer be improved? Could they do a better job of making their deliveries? What are the areas of improvement that, without your ego, right? Without your ego, that you could take this and make this into, because that's the other piece that you don't know. And the other thing that you really have to determine is if the business has been around for a long time, like a long time, 30, 40 years, and the spokesperson is the owner, you need to retain him or her as a spokesperson, and you need to pay him for that for the next few years and ease them into the new situation.
That's a good call. That's a really good call. Pete, are you good at Scrabble?
Yes, I am.
Because I've never, you just bebopped and scatted like ascertain, pro forma, efficacy. I've never heard such vocabulary coming out of you, man.
I'm just a poor kid from upstate New York.
I don't believe that for
peanut butter and jelly. No, I swear.
We've got some comments that are coming in, and I wanted to reference them before because I know we're at the top of the hour. But Anthony says, in talking about this and this financing opportunity that Need Answers in Southern California had, is ask yourself this: is it profitable if they add their personal load compensation slash compensation on the business as an additional expense and after the finance payments? Yeah. That's so gold right there from Anthony. And Brad Carroll says, hello, Pete, from Brad and Becky. We just caught the tail end of today's podcast, but we appreciate you. You're a great guy with a huge heart. Thank you for your commitment of being a servant to all of us.
Thank you, Brad and Becky. Love you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, this thing went by quick and we're over, so we got to close it down. Hey, listen, I want to thank Andy, Andrew, RJ, Anthony. Great stuff, Anthony. Thank you. You got to come on my show, brother. You are just way too smart to not be on the Pete Primeau Show.
Make us smarter.
Yeah, Brad and Becky. Thank you guys all for your contributions today. This went by like in 5 minutes, like an hour, like in 5 minutes. So guys, you just made my Friday. You made my heart sing, and love you all. And thank you. And Chris, unbelievable job as always. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pete. It was my honor.
Take care. Have a great day.
You too.